So if you're an introvert street photographer, this video really might help you, because the guy that we're meeting today, we're doing an interview with a guy called Steve from London. He's absolutely phenomenal. You might know him as Don Stevie Street on Instagram. He's absolutely incredible photographer. But his ability and his versatility and his confidence is so inspiring. So if you need a bit of encouragement as far as being a little bit introvert on the streets, you might well take something from this video, because he's a very, very inspiring photographer. Not only is he an extremely talented photographer, but his approach and his versatility makes him definitely one of my favourite street photographers in the UK so far. I'm really, really pleased to have him on the channel. So yeah, if you're an introvert street photographer, you're probably going to take something from this. Before we get into it, it's quite a long video. Apologies, it's a bit different from the normal, a bit more sort of an interview style video on this one. Not as many photographs as we'd like. We've got chatting quite a lot. But before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's downloaded my digital zine. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm really proud of it, and the comments I've had so far are really, really nice as well. So you can download that. There's absolutely 40 pages in there, so you can go through and have a look and read about all the photographs, and read about all the experiences and stuff in there. So yeah, massive thank you to all of you guys that have helped support the channel by downloading. It's actually three zines. There's 3 zines on the website now. So go over and have a look at them, and check out the surprise, the guest zine on there as well, because I know a lot of you guys are really enjoying that one. But anyway, let's get straight into the video. Hope you enjoy it. And as I said, if you're an introvert street photographer, this one's for you.
Someone starts screaming and yelling. And
do you get that, do you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been spat at.
No way!
I've been punched, I've had wine thrown at me, I've had... I'm going to call the police.
Oh!
Hello,
mate. How you doing? Nice to finally meet you. I love the jacket.
Oh yeah, it's
it matches your camera as well. You got a green camera.
Of course.
Is that on like a TTL mode then, the flash?
Oh no, it's manual. It's manual.
Right, okay.
I mean, I judge it, and what I find is then when you take the picture, you'll get the crisp image with the flash, and then whatever you do with the camera afterwards,
that's right,
whether
yeah,
it's a sort of a wiggle up, downways, sideways, impacts very much the outcome that you'll get.
Because the person that you're photographing doesn't have to be as interesting as the effect that you're creating with the light and the flash.
I think interesting person with the effect that you create, but it doesn't have the same kind of...
Your approach though is so fluid. The way you approach people and the way you keep moving, it's the confidence you show, and like people don't seem angry by it. They just seem like entertained by it almost.
It's almost a bemused indifference, I'd say, right? There's a kind of, and I mean, clearly there's certain things I will and won't shoot. Those glasses were great. I should have shot them. But there
do you want to catch up with them?
No, that's fine. It's fine. I just walk. But there are certain things that I will and won't shoot. I don't want to shoot someone who's, for example, suffering. Or a homeless person who you'd expect, you need to give them the same right to privacy as you'd expect in your own home, because the street's their home. Or someone who's mentally unwell and suffering certain travails, those sort of things are off limit. But I think otherwise, if they're well in their right mind and
I was looking left not to get ran over, and you ran at the taxi. How long have you been shooting flash though? Because your confidence and the way you approach it's an art to watch you. Actually, I'm impressed with just the way you flow through the photograph and just. Have you been doing flash a long time?
I mean, quite a while, and I think I'm not an introvert by nature, right? I'm quite an extrovert, so I don't kind of have problems with people, right? I don't sort of have
I don't think you could wear that coat if you were an introvert.
No, exactly. Very good observation. Fucking dreadful, isn't it? You have a... I think it's like anything. If you do it and you look like you should be doing it and you own it, then...
That's absolutely bang on, yeah, I agree.
That kind of helps with everything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, that's it really.
Because if you look nervous and shady, people will think, hang on, what's he doing? Is he up to no good? But if you look like you're almost commissioned to be there,
well,
you own the environment.
People don't spot the camera, right? What do people see? People are programmed, attuned biologically to spot people who are shady. So if you're sitting there kind of trying to get a hip shot, furtively fucking around with your depth of field, and people just look at you.
Yeah, it looks.
See you.
It looks so awkward, doesn't it?
It looks awkward. People don't. People see that, right? So the camera itself, no one gives a shit about it. Not these days. Very random, some of them. I mean, I like the expressions there. And I'll bump the contrast.
It's completely unrecognisable to what the scene... Was that the couple we just seen just then?
Yeah, the guy with the Harry Potter shades, or the glasses, it's sort of so funny.
But it's so unrecognisable to what real life was. I mean, that picture's so more exciting.
Well, it adds that dimension, doesn't it?
I don't know why, but I like it. It's like, how many step ladders do you need, isn't it? Oh no, that was annoying because she was good. So, do you ever look back and see the response, or is that just like the...
Well, sometimes I have no option, right? If someone starts screaming and yelling, and
do you get that? Do you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been spat at.
No way.
I've been punched. I've had wine thrown at me. I've had. I'm gonna call the police.
Anybody ever managed to get the camera off you?
No.
So you've not damaged any kit in the process?
I've lost. One of my
diffusers,
flashes.
Oh, the whole flash.
Yeah, because it's kind of, if you punch that comes off. I've been punched in the nose, had my glasses.
All from taking a photograph.
Dragged into my face. It was at the. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tall black gentleman wearing a full hazmat suit.
Right.
The full face mask.
For, not for costume, but for actually working, was he?
No, I think he's just a bit concerned about COVID.
So he's very visually interesting, but in his mind, he's just paranoid.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I had to have his picture. This I think it was his right hand or left hand loading up to to give me a whack.
The full story is in the picture.
Yeah, but it is what it is. If you want to make an omelette, you've got to break some eggs.
That's right. Yeah. So every time you see that photograph, you're reminded of that entire event.
Well, look, I don't, as you can probably tell, make my money through modelling. So it wasn't impactful on me particularly. But I just love the 25 field of view. It's tiny. It is what it is, right? It's just a very, very simple lens. But the wide field of view for me just means one thing when I'm talking street photography, and that's proximity. The wider you are, the closer.
Forces you to get closer, yeah.
And so I absolutely adore the fact that you can get in really close with the 25.
So your go-to apertures sort of like very, very small, like 22, 16, that sort of
16
thing?
16 generally, because or 8 to, because I could shoot rather than 16 and 200s, I could shoot a sort of 8 and 100, right? So it's sort of, but the lens is very good between 8 and 16.
But so you just said you meter the flash to about literally half a metre in front of you, kind of there. And
that's kind of where
that's where you are, yeah.
Be, right?
So nothing fully manual, sort of a sixth of a second.
Yeah, and
obviously your zone focusing at about 1.5 meters here.
Yeah, exactly, about 1 meter there, and because I'm nothing's going to be beyond 1 meter.
Go on then. Why the Leica? Do you like? I know it matches your jacket, but why the Leica? Is there something about Leicas that people just can't live without?
It's the same when I think Michael Schumacher was asked what's his favourite car. And you'd think Michael Schumacher, was it 7 times world champion?
He knows his chickens, doesn't he?
Yeah, you'd think he'd say, it's this Ferrari or this.
Oh,
and he said it was the Fiat 500.
Is he?
The little Fiat, the classical Fiat 500, because it feels like a go-kart to drive. It's such a beautiful car to drive. And as it is with Leica, it's incredibly, it's pleasurable to use.
It's all about the experience of using it, isn't it?
Mostly the experience.
Which Leica have we got here anyway?
It's the Reporter, which I did get purely on the basis that it's green.
Yeah.
And obviously the greenness gives it more.
You does, yeah, of course.
I mean, it gives it more.
You're not going to get back. You're going to get back colours off a green camera.
It's more, right? It gives you more stuff, right?
So what are you popping on the top here now? What's this now? Oh, it's just a thumb rest, is it?
Yeah, it's a thumb rest. Because it's 25, obviously, the deficiencies with Leica. I mean, Leica have invented, created a problem, and then you have to buy a solution, right? I mean, it's brilliant. It's genius.
It's for them, yeah.
It's called an SLR, right?
You
can look through the lens, and then you see the field of view that you've screwed on. It doesn't need security. I need security. I could go up and flash him and see if the security do something.
Yeah, it does look like one of those jackets. You got nothing underneath it, doesn't it? Of course, I'm joking, but you're not gonna shock me completely now, are you?
No. Flash as in flash.
Oh, I see.
I don't know where your mind's at.
That's a good double entendre for street photographers, isn't it? Especially wearing that coat. Do you ever find that the sort of the tactile way of shooting non-sort of Sony-esque with everything autofocus and everything auto? Do you ever find it holds you back, or are you just so used to?
Well, no, I think it would probably be the other way around. Because imagine, focusing is disposed of because the modern sensor is such that you can dial in such a depth of field with the ISO capability you have with the aperture and maintain a shutter and keep it clean. So, to be honest, are we talking about focusing? No. And then,
because you'll always zone focus even if you had a fully automatic lens anyway. Yeah.
Unless I'm going for sort of subject separation and that kind of out of focus stuff that 7-year-old girls like when they take flowers, right? But there's a lot of that.
I suppose that's where it's art, isn't it? That's where people have got their own interpretation. But I understand, and I get annoyed. I was watching somebody shoot, and they said, "I'm going to shoot this at 50mm 1.2 because I can." And I literally fell apart. But
I mean, I like
it was a scene that needed f8.
And look, I like taking pictures of flowers with, very shallow depths of field.
But when it's necessary,
And I like taking kind of pictures of sort of funny installations again with super shallow depths of field. Love it, and the fluffy out of focus zone. But for street photography, it's not even something that makes any sense, right?
So context is obviously very important, and the background, as much depth of field.
I kind of feel it is.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm so drawn to that picture. I honestly don't. Oh, look at the old Lotus. Look at the old Lotus. I love the old Lotuses. Love them. I don't know, is it interesting?
No, it's quite, I like this.
The light on it is incredible, isn't it? The fall off of the shadows. I don't know if you can see that. I can toggle the natural live view on and off so that I can see work the scene with the contrast. Looks good. Oh, the red one's there as well. Smart. I've spoken to so many street photographers that I like that photograph, but it's so overdone, it's so cliche. And then when you walk past something like that with a mirror, it's so easy to jump into the cliche.
There's nothing wrong with it per se. If you can do a better shot, if you can elevate it, if you can do something different with it, but it's conceptually the same, there's nothing wrong with it.
But I think what you're saying is bang on. If you can improve it, whereas if it's just the fact I want to take that cliche shot, but not actually know how it can be improved.
But then I think it's a good starting point. It's a hook into, there are, as you say, a number of classics that are classics for a reason. You can probably go out and try to repeat them yourself. So it gives you something to hold on to.
So depending on where you are on the step ladder, there's nothing going out and recreating the cliche shot.
Let's have a go, because I don't know. I haven't got much of a mind of my own, let's say, at the moment.
Yeah, you're being influenced, aren't you?
Yeah, but then you go out and have a go, and so I think in a way it gives you that little step on the ladder, and then obviously as you progress, you you look back at your shots, and I mean, I always say to people, I'm sharing my mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, because in a month's time, I expect to be better. In a year's time, I expect to be much better. And so,
Yeah, how do you judge that though? Because I mean, by going through your pictures, you only judge that by learning from mistakes, and then you've got to be honest with yourself and say, well,
of course, I mean, but it's pretty linear. Time's pretty linear, right? Let's not get into the time debate, not being linear and travelling at the speed of light and all that.
What, you mean you can't?
No, exactly. But granted, because I can't travel at the speed of light, let's for all things remaining equal, time's pretty linear, and so over time, if you do it enough, you get better at it. I mean, look, photography's what? It's a surface area, right? It's your eye and how good you are with the camera settings, let's say, right? So that's your eye, and you can train your eye, by the way, because you can get out and look, as you were telling me earlier about how the more you do something, the more you see, the better you can train your eye to pick out the things that are of
the more versatile you become as well, don't you? Yeah.
So it's your eye, how you can work your camera.
It's basically the idea is get out and make as many mistakes as you can as fast as you can.
So that's one part of the surface area. The second is
not getting run over.
Yeah, and that's the opportunities you give yourself, the places you go, the people you meet. Yeah, so getting out there, being in new places, being in different places, and that opportunity is super important. And then the third is time. The more you do anything, the better you'll get, if you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, and you're researching, because I think you can make the same mistake for 10 years.
Yeah, but then you're not very clever, and that's life. But it's those three things. It's those three things. It's your eye and how you can use your camera. It's the opportunities you give yourself and how long you do it. A tiny fractional multiplier.
And the will to get better. I think the will to improve and the desire to be better.
I just think that's a baseline, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a baseline in there somewhere that you've got to. Yeah.
I think crucially, one of the things that's helped me though is having, as you said earlier, about having several strings to your bow. So like, just you said, the light's gone flat. Might be time to chuck the flash on.
Yeah.
So because we were 1 minute, literally 1 minute, we were shooting high contrast side light, beautiful shapes, beautiful reflections. Next thing, it's flat. Plan B, flash. So you've got other ways of shooting. Because that's definitely my favourite thing about you as a photographer is, as I was saying earlier, how versatile you are and how varied your style of photography is absolutely incredible.
How confused I am.
Okay, yeah. No, because you think that there was, like you mentioned earlier, that people think your page is of a group. Well, you would looking at your photography, you'd think that it's several photographers' work. You wouldn't think it was just one photographer's work.
Yeah, well, they all need to bloody improve.
Yeah, every one of them.
Buck up there,
and they all need to stop dressing like you. Look at that, isn't that beautiful?
Oh, the old
it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Gasoline.
It's just gorgeous. It wouldn't fit today's price on there.
No. Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I'm lucky. It's sort of half and half. It's like run out of material.
Tractor! Who was it that told you that?
For the kids' face to go. Steve's being interviewed about his camera again. I spotted this car, which I really like, and the nice geometry come from the back of the camera. Nice geometry with the corner, and then obviously on the right hand side, then the right hand top, right hand third. When the light's good, you do get a nice shadow silhouette in that. Obviously light dependent, but because that background does light up enough to give you the background's that light pink wall there, so it does give you well, the sun's gone now, but the idea was there. Might have got something. This scene of, if you can see it, of this old school hairdresser is amazing, and then look at the reflection of your man in the background, but he's actually double. If I go over here a little bit, you can see he's reflecting in the what's the word, the mirror at the back as well.
if I focus on the letterbox, you actually get him in there. It's amazing.
Do you enjoy that? Yeah. What a phenomenal talent. But his obviously being an extrovert, his confidence is bonkers. But it was so inspiring to see that he didn't have any confrontation or anything. He just walked around constantly moving, enjoying himself. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Now, if you are an introvert watching the video, I do hope you picked up something from that. It's obviously down to the personality if you can and can't do that style of photography. It might not even suit you, but I think what was key was how much he's able to adapt to his environment, be it using flash, be it using slow shutter, be it using, for metering for high contrast. If you check out his Instagram, you'll see what I mean. He's absolutely ridiculously versatile as a photographer, and yeah, really nice guy, but super talented. We didn't spend that long together. It was only about 3 hours, so didn't get that much in the way of photography, more talking. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you took something from it anyway. I did manage to get a photograph as I was waiting at the end of the day. I was waiting on the train station, and I was trying to take a picture of Stevie through the train as the train went past, but he was kind of faffing around, and I noticed a girl in the corner who was reading a book, and she looked really cool. So I got that shot, and I really like that shot. So yeah, as I always say, just aim for that one image from your shoots and you should be fine. But just to close, thank you so much for anyone who's downloaded the digital zine. It makes us, it gives us a load of confidence, and we can actually plan these sort of street photographs and meets and stuff like that. So it enables us to continue doing more of these interviews in the future. So if you enjoyed that, jump over, check out the zine, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.